But the Big East, lost in all that, is the Big East has 3 teams right now in the Sweet 16, one of which is UConn. Obviously, you got Xavier, and Sean Miller's done a great job with that program that haven't been in the tournament in 4 years under Travis Steele. And then you've got Creighton. And Creighton goes up against the ultimate Cinderella that's still left, right? Princeton, Mitch Henderson. It's a tough matchup for Creighton. However, I just think they have too much in that starting 5. We've talked about it all year. Their depth isn't great. But when it comes to the tournament, Doug, they got enough, don't they? And you saw it on successive nights. Kalkbrenner was awesome in their first-round game. And yesterday, it was their point guard, Andrew Nembhard, who goes for 30.
Okay, so you layered in a couple things in there. First of all, Big East did have a good weekend. Let's also remember they got some excellent draws, right? They're seeded kind of win. And Creighton has a little bit of the feel. Do you remember the first year that Butler went to the championship game? That was when Gordon Hayward, he missed the mid-court shot. What you and I know about that team, which I think was a 5 seed, was they were a preseason top 10 team, right? So we expected them to be good. What you have to remember about Creighton is they're a preseason top 10 team. Now, they're seeding.
I had them top 5.
Okay, right. But again, that's to anybody who paid attention. Last year they probably make a run if Nembhard doesn't get hurt. Completely different team.
And Kalkbrenner,
right? Right. So you get your point and your center, and he's a game changer. And they've had, I bring up Jacob Epperson was a young kid who he got hurt. He never became what they thought he could become. Like they've kind of been snake bit at that 5 position, and considering how they play, and they're so good in 4 out. So it's not actually a surprise that Creighton is here. And yeah, like I think for Princeton, it's an interesting matchup. I think Princeton can compete in this game. But Creighton is rightfully a prohibitive favorite. But we do this conference thing where we kind of go back and forth about it. Like, okay, everybody's saying the Big East is great. Okay, so that means in previous years when the Big East was eliminated in the first weekend, that it was a joke of a conference? Like, no. Okay, there's a lot more to it than that. But those 3 teams performed well. I didn't think Marquette. I thought Kolek wasn't right. He wasn't the same because of the hand, but also his attitude was kind of off. But, like if we're going to say, hey, the Big East is great, like, okay, well, your best team that won the league and won the league tournament, they got beat in the first weekend against the Michigan State team. So it does work both ways. That's why I don't get too overboard in the conference thing.
I guess, but all I'll say to that is there's so many upsets that you got to beat who you got to beat, and they're taking care of business when they have to, right? UConn got a good draw. I won't deny that. Xavier almost lost to Kennesaw State in the first round, right? They honestly got a gift there at the end. You need some breaks, but again,
no question. No question. I mean, like, look, Arkansas needed a break, but UConn, they're playing St. Mary's, and Alex Dukas hurts his back. The whole game changes. Right? I will say this about UConn: the second half against Iona, the second half against St. Mary's. That's a team that can win a national championship. Okay.
Wow.
That's a team that can win a national championship. They're great.
Yeah,
they're great. And by the way, these are three programs that are super invested in basketball. They have good, not crazy, but they have good NIL, and they have really good coaches. Like, it's no stunner that these teams are here. It's just not. The Princeton is probably the biggest surprise because they don't have NIL. They can't take transfers. They have no summers. They don't do summer school, right? Like, they're like old school, and they went and beat a 2 seed and then beat a 8-9 seed at the SEC. That's actually more surprising.